3, 2, 1.
We
3,
are
2,
live.
3, 2, 1, go. Mike, I'd say hi to you, but I already said it. We weren't live yet. But hi, buddy.
Yeah, he's been here for a while. So he's the first in line.
He's a good man. Thank you, Mike, for coming in.
Yeah.
Oh boy, there's just so much to talk about.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what direction you want to go, but I'm in.
Hey, you know what? We just roll with it.
Excellent.
I walked outside a little while ago. Wanted to go grab a porch chair and put some shorts on and go work on my tan. It actually feels like summer now today.
That's what that flash of light was in the north.
Yeah, it's strange bright light in the sky. Yeah, haven't seen that in a while. Or we've gotten used to when we do see it. It's bundle up like Nanook of the North because it's 50 below outside.
Yeah, when I left Denver, it was 61 degrees, and I got back to Omaha, it was 37, and it was still 60 degrees in Denver.
Oh yeah, that's weird because I know. Back in the day, all you ever heard about is, oh, hey, go to Colorado. It's cold. You can ski. You can snowmobile. You can snowshoe. And now there's days where they're warmer than we are.
Not so much. Grace had in her mind that we should go snowshoeing, and it's like I don't know, and B, it's a nice thought, but they didn't have. I mean, we drove to Boulder and actually started up in the mountains there and took a short hike, but it was just a half mile hike. But there wasn't any snow. I mean, there was snow, but it was like 2 inches of slush, and the roads were dry, and up, of course, top of the range behind us was all white and pretty, but nothing down below. Kevin Hawthorne came in. Vegas, being Becky. Hi, y'all. Joseph Lopez.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, I know we had the Upper Peninsula definitely got their money's worth this year as far as the snow, because I just every other day I was getting alerts, because I still get all the weather alerts for up there. Where they were closing down like major stretches of highway because they were impassable because of snow.
Wow. Well, that's and there and Denver, it's different too, because they can get 20 inches of snow and it's clean the next day. They got so much equipment that they're ready for it. But
but I know a lot of ours with like up there up in the UP. There's a lot of that. Most of those stretches they close are right along the Lake Superior shoreline, where you go in town, you got maybe 8-9 inches of snow, but you get out there on those stretches and they've got 25-foot drifts and nobody can get by. But they definitely after the winter they had last year, they definitely, for no other reason, probably financial reasons, they needed all that snow. So
well, I'm glad they got.
I'm happy for them.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want it, I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, they could have had what we got down here too.
Hey, Dave Richardson. He says hello, Michi, Cranky, and all in the chat.
Yeah.
Vegas said stopping in for a thumbs up. I'll return shortly. Thanks, Vegas.
Cool, Vegas. We appreciate it, buddy.
Yes, sir. If we get a chance a little later, I'll show you a few of the pictures from the trip. We believe it or not, Michi. Well, there's a funny story with it, so I'll tell you about that part if I get a chance to show the picture. But there's a little area called Old Town Louisville, and where Colby's now officially fiance, her father lives there. Grace.
Oh, cool.
Grace's father. God, what a wonderful young lady. She's a special one. But hey, MP68. There was a great big bronze horse head on a column out in front of a bar.
Oh boy.
So guess what I got a few pictures of. So film at 11. We'll share that a little later in the stream if we get to it. But LLC, I got to meet up with him, and we went to. I did a post and a short video today on Erie gold and silver.
Yeah.
And then I called them today to tell them thank you, because it was pretty cool when we LLC got there a little bit before I did, and he was already in talking to Josh, the manager. And when I walked in, I heard Josh go, "Nah, not so much. We can't really like do videos or pictures or anything in the shop." And he, we spent like 35, 40 minutes in there before he came back up, because they were busy. Just constant people in and out. And I'm telling you, man, this is LLC and I were talking about this is going, precious metals is going mainstream. And so about 30 minutes into it, he came over and we were laughing with everybody on the staff. He had a great staff and looking at every single piece in their cases. I did have a couple of pickups, but he came over a little later and goes, "Well, if it slows down, we could probably do a little something, So it's the whole, there's the relationship started right there,
There you go.
Just super nice people, really. And everybody was strapped, loved it. It was a great day. And I got a couple of pickups, but LLC spent, golly, at least 3 times the money I spent, and picked up some really nice pieces. He got a 2-ounce stacker and a lion that was really cool. But
nice.
Yeah. So
like a kid in a candy store.
Oh my gosh, literally. I mean, they were laughing because I would every once in a while I'd go, "Ooh," and they were digging on it. They thought it was pretty cool. And I think that I think Josh actually probably went back in the back because we had given him our stickers and magnets, and he may have gone back to check our our channel status or whatever and see if we were legit. And that may have changed his mind as far as doing the video. But super nice bunch. I'd go to their website because if it's out there in silver or gold, they got it. And they got like old numismatics, and foreign and stuff. It was a really cool shop. They had, I've never seen this before either, Michi. They had cloth bags and plastic bags stacked on little 2x2 pallets, little skids of coins by like 20-pound bags, and just great big old, like you'd see in the Scrooge McDuck cartoons, of great big bags of coins. It was really cool. And I found out today, talking to him on the phone, that there's a big coin show in Denver in May. So I didn't know that. The gal I was talking to on the phone said, "So you coming back in May?" And I'm like, "For the big coin show?" And I'm like, "Didn't know there was one. Maybe I am now." Bellows came in. Hi, Bellows. Mandy's Candy. How are y'all? Yeah, so I could go on and on about that trip, but
that means you had fun.
Yeah, I did. I really did. I haven't eaten that much food in probably the last couple of months. I mean, in a 48-hour period.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten like that for forever. So when I get up to see you, I'm expecting to have some chili dogs and
got to go get some Coney dogs.
Coney's, yeah, that's
pizza.
Yep.
You name it.
So what's the deal? What's the deal with the flooding in your neighborhood?
That was over in the neighborhood I grew up in.
Yeah.
Over there in Southwest Detroit. I don't know if it made the national news or not, but I'm probably going to screw this up. I guess a 54-inch main ruptured.
That's what it was a 54-inch.
And the city of Detroit has not been the greatest at maintaining their water lines. So some of those areas are well over 100 years old. And this thing let go, and people were waking up to, they come out on their front porch and they got 4 feet of water out where the front lawn used to be. And, that area is not used to it. And, they had the fire department came in, and started making calls on it. And they had, like dive teams and, river rescue units from everywhere that came down to get these people out. I mean, they even had a couple of fire department dive teams that came over from Canada to help out.
Wow.
But yeah, they were bringing people out in the buckets of front end loaders and all kinds of stuff, because that was the only way they could get them out. Now they've got it pretty much cleaned up now, and I guess they got the hole dug, and now they're just trying to, kind of thaw the ground out a little bit around where they got to work so that they can get the new pieces in and fix it up and get it back to working right.
Well,
And
man.
the Great Lakes Water Authority, whatever they call it, they've opened up their checkbook. They're paying to repair or replace vehicles that were parked there that got flooded out. They're paying for all the damages to the houses. They're paying for the cleanup. They're paying for everything. So these people, because there are a lot of, I don't want to say middle class people there, but there's also a lot of people that are barely scraping by. So that was good to hear there. And then watching the community come together to make sure people had somewhere warm to stay, because it's been colder than here the last couple of weeks. And
well, yeah, I mean, insult to injury, the ice that was in the pictures was
right. Oh yeah, it was
just amazing.
Crazy. But yeah, they've done a really really good job, quick job, not typical Detroit where it takes them 6 months to figure out there's a problem. So but yeah, they're the people over there in the old neighborhood, they're being well taken care of, and which is something you never for a long time couldn't put the word Detroit and well taken care of in the same sentence. And but they're on it, and they'll be all right.
Well, good. That's a massive line. I mean, when I got to the airport Friday, my neighbor was texting me, and he actually got a little rude with me because I was standing in the TSA line and emptying my pockets into a tote and all that as he was texting me, trying to tell me to call him. And I'm like, dude, it's going to be a little bit, Right. But I got to the airport, and a water line broke out in front of our house, right out on 56th Street there, and so there was like 10 MUD guys, 2 guys working, 8 guys standing around,
Really, of course.
They brought a backhoe in and dug it all up and everything, but it wasn't anything like, like 54 inches, just massive.
Yeah, I saw a picture of the piece that they're putting in there to fix it, and you can drive a small car through this darn thing.
Yeah.
But
hi, Steve.
They've been complaining for years that and I understand why, because it gets down to 32 degrees and you got pipes busting all over the city. But it's been a big sticking point for a long time, as they really need to overhaul the whole water system there.
Yeah. And maybe possibly some of the municipal government, who knows?
Well, yeah.
Here we go down the rabbit hole.
No. I'll just say this. I have my extreme displeasures with the current mayor of the city of Detroit, but it doesn't have anything to do with what he's done as mayor. It's things that he did prior to being mayor. He stuck it to law enforcement back when he was a prosecutor. He was the Wayne County prosecutor, and a couple of times, and then when he left the prosecutor's office to become the CEO of the Detroit Medical Center, which is like was one of the biggest healthcare corporations in Michigan, if not the the eastern half of the United States. He comes in, has big powwows with all the employees. Hey, yeah, we're going to be selling the DMC, and everything is going to get so much better for everybody, and you guys are going to love it, and this and that. Well, he sold off the DMC to a for-profit healthcare corporation and resigned as CEO, took his money and ran. And the people that still work at the DMC will tell you it was the worst thing that ever happened to them. So
yeah, gosh.
But yeah, and it's just, and I was one of the victims of the sale, because there's no due process. I mean, I know we have, you're an at-will employee, but there's usually due process when, things happen, and there is no due process with them. And actually the two level 1 trauma centers in their portfolio up here in Detroit both received an F grading from U.S. News and World Reports, and then of course it snowballed from there. And it used to be where I would tell you outright, hey, if I'm shot, hit by a car, stabbed, beat up, whatever, take me to Detroit receiving. I wouldn't take my worst enemy's dying dog to receiving now. So,
well, man. Well, we got MP68 and Cherie Ward, Gold Sniping Farmer. Hello, y'all.
Seven's here.
Seven's in here, yeah. Hey, y'all. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I just
T-Bird's here too. Hey, T-Bird.
Oh, T-Bird's here. Hi, T-Bird.
Yeah.
Didn't see him.
He just popped
Dave
in.
Richardson.
Yeah. Cherie Ward's
Excellent.
here.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hit the like there. Oh shit, I forgot where I was going with that. Well, anyway, I've got some pictures. I'll show you a picture of that before we go too much further. I may as well do that. If you don't mind,
no, go right ahead here.
Now I'm gonna tell you that we went to, well, this is my favorite picture of the whole trip. There you go.
Okay. Nice. I'm trying to make you big. Where'd it go?
Oh, that's okay. Yeah.
There we go.
Is that pretty?
Yeah, I got you big.
Miss Lori said it looked like a Bob Ross, and I see the happy little trees in it.
Yeah.
It was it was a great trip. And I'll show you the picture of now I will tell you this, in the picture of the horse outside the bar, there I was trying to take a selfie, just for ourselves.
Yeah.
And I put it up. My glasses were so dark because they self-darken, and I put it up, and I couldn't see the horse anymore, and I kept moving the thing around, and I go, where'd the damn horse go? And Grace started laughing, and she goes, turn the camera the other way. So I was like, I was shooting out into there's our horse head outside the bar.
You go.
And this hat that I'm sporting right here is a limited edition Raven Ivy silver. She sent me that several months ago, and it was
oh, cool,
pretty cool hat. And that's Grace and Colby.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the horse outside the bar.
Well, did you? When they first showed it, I actually did a community post, and I go, "This one's for Cranky." Did you see the Budweiser Super Bowl ad this year?
I did not.
Well, make long story short, it's another one of those ones where
was that the one with the colt rolling the mini
Yes.
the pony keg.
Yes. And he rolls it into the bar, and I'm like, oh, there's Cranky's Super Bowl commercial right there.
Yep, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about it till you said, see how important that kind of stuff is. We got Canadian Silver Stacking High. He's in your neighborhood, eh? Well, I may as well just real quick go ahead and show you what I get. This is the best pickup I got up there. This was it's one of LLC's chips.
Nice.
Yeah, he's making them in like exotic woods. I couldn't tell you what this is, but
you can tell it's not cheap.
yeah, and he gave Grace and Colby one. Now, I bought them some necklaces to put their buffalo on. You know, those charms that I made for them.
Yeah.
And some other charms they wanted to put on there, and I put them on there for them when I was out there, and that they looked pretty cool. But I got an 84 Prospector. I paid 36 on that.
Nice.
It's in great condition.
Yeah.
And it is the big E with the Taurus, like whatever you call that, privy, whatever. $36. Man, they had a probably 4-inch wide by 20-inch deep bin of these things just stacked in there.
Holy cow.
Not all 90 or 84s, but
well, now never all the prospectors went.
Yeah, man, we went, ooh, gotta have that up on the counter, and so they brought that up. I mean it was a phenomenal shop. Now, this I have never seen before. I paid 48 for this because I liked it. And this is one silver Universaro. And look at the crazy toning on this.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen a Universaro before. This is a 72. Little different toning on the back. It's toned here, but not so much over here. But I've never seen these before, ever. Didn't know they existed.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Universaro.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's really the extent of what I picked up. Other than what I got for the kids. You know, I didn't see an 87 Prospector, although they may have had one in there. But they had everything was in capsules. Now, like every really unique one like this were in capsules, and they were all individually priced. So it would be like spot plus, $15 or whatever. It would say plus 15 or whatever. And then of course these they had in the bin, which I had to pick one of them up. So yeah, that's that. So it was good fun. Haven't been watching Tuli on GSF Auction. She's had several lately. The Universaros, Farmer. Hi, Robert. Good to see you, my friend. Ooh, 10 for 345. That's nice.
Yeah.
So Farmer, is that Universaros that she's had on there? Because I haven't caught the whole auctions. Well, I didn't catch the last one, but anyway, yeah, the Universaros.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, if I'd have seen that, I probably would have bought it then. Friends and family discount? No. No. We're all good. Wouldn't expect that. That's all right. Yeah, so that's the extent of my weekend. And okay, I'm done. See y'all. Thanks for coming in. I did pick up from an unspecified source some aluminum today. I don't know that she would want me to divulge the source, but she is in the chat, which kind of narrows it down. But that's as far as I'm going to go with that.
I cannot
Anyways,
confirm nor deny.
Yeah, that it was. Oh, shoot. I just, matter of fact, I sent a payment earlier, and I have no clue how I got the money to her. I have no idea how it went through because I don't know what I did.
Oh,
And it was on one of my regular pay systems, but I didn't think I had done anything. So anyway, that's about all I got to say about that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. One last thing. So the night before I fly back, we had a good flight out there, and I was nervous because I haven't flown in like 20 years. And so get out to Denver, and it's I did a WN 308 form. If you're familiar with that, Michi, probably nobody out here is, but it has to do with the Second Amendment rights
Right.
and travel. And so I said, because I have it and I can, I'm going to.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really actually not too much trouble at all, really.
Right.
But I got out there, and the night before I flew back, we watched a movie, and Grace's brother said, "This is a really good movie," and it was okay, but it was real heavy in CGI,
Right.
and the actresses were terrible. Not an ounce of talent between the two main characters, and then Justin Bateman was in it. It was called Carry On,
Uh-huh.
and of course, it was about somebody trying to sneak some biohazard stuff through TSA, and how they got
Yeah.
it was an action movie, and I'm like, well, thanks a lot. This is a good one for me to watch before I go to Denver International tomorrow,
Right.
and knowing my love of flying. And they didn't even serve beverages on the way back. It was so rough.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, yeah, I might drive to Denver in May for the show. But
There you go. Let's I
anyways,
know the last, let's see, the last if you include round trip, the last 4 times I've flown was from here, from Detroit Metro, or I'm sorry, let's call it what it's called now, Detroit Wayne County International Airport to Washington D.C. So yeah, I know, no snacks, no drinks coming or going, because literally you take off from Metro, you get up in the air, you level out, and then you're coming back down
yeah,
to land.
yeah,
So
we're gonna start our descent, and yeah.
right.
Did you see in the chat over there? Seven Stacks goes, and Cherie goes, go ahead if it's me. So that's where I picked up a little today, but yeah. She will neither confirm nor deny, but yeah, and I think back when I was flying a lot around the country, the the uh, the puddle jumpers that I had to take, like from Seattle to Port Angeles, Washington, up on the peninsula, and that kind of
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
It didn't used to bother me at all. Of course, I was drinking pretty heavily at the time.
Well, yeah.
So
That would usually take some of the edge off. Just
no, it takes all the edge off.
just don't indulge in any adult beverages if you've got to go to Metro Airport to fly in or out anywhere, because if you have more than one, you end up coming to visit me at the hospital I work at. That's like their norm now.
Did you know it's a felony now to take your own alcohol on a plane?
I did not know that.
It is. Matter of fact, I was sitting next to a grandma on the way back, and she's like, "Well, we used to do that all the time." And I'm like,
Right. Well,
you?
that's why thinking back to the last time I was actually inside Metro, that's like I'm trying to figure out how they can pull that off, considering everything that you can eat and drink is after you go through TSA, so there's nothing stopping you.
Yeah, yeah. You can buy it. You can buy it on the flight, but you cannot carry it on.
Right.
Because they will arrest you, and that's part of their spiel now.
Wow. Okay.
So
yeah, there's a lot of stuff they've changed, but
Mr.
I don't
Silver
fly
Eagle.
that often anyway. I mean, the last time I flew, my son was in the 8th grade, so, and he's in his 4th year of college now. So that's a few years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Robert says, why would anybody go to Port Angeles? Well, Robert, I had to drive from Port Angeles to Sequim, which is an absolutely gorgeous place. The Dungeness River dumps into that area, and it's where they get Dungeness crab. And I tell you what, food was great. Mike said, ask me how I knew that. Hi, Mr. Silver Eagle. Good evening. Airport breakfast beers are judgment free. And there you go. Yeah. Yeah, and it's really funny because I was kind of smiling to myself. I was sitting in the airport and watching. There was a couple of guys in the bar, and there's always those guys that really do think the place is Cheers. Like everybody should know their name,
Right?
Even though they're passing through.
Right,
And these guys were just a riot. I was watching these guys going, "You guys are." God, back in the day, I had to put them boys to shame, but I don't think I was ever like obnoxious, and it was
Right.
it was quite fun watching some of these guys. But anyways,
Well, when they're at Metro, if they have too much fun, they end up getting brought to the hospital. So
yeah, tell us about that hospital where everyone is bite-sized or bite-sized Michi. We won't go into that.
Yes, and to elaborate on what Cranky just said, was it a week ago Friday? I had a patient that apparently thought I looked tasty and tried to take a hunk out of my hand, but she didn't get too far.
Yeah.
And yeah, she came to us courtesy of the bright yellow and white ambulances that say Detroit Wayne County Metro Airport Authority.
Man, I tell you, when it's that kind of authority that's bringing you in, you got issues.
Yeah. Well, you trip over your own 2 feet. You must be drunk. We're going to take you to the hospital. You had a couple too many at the cocktail lounge. We don't find you a way to, sleep it off or whatever. No, we take you to the hospital. Let you sleep it off there.
There you go. Bellows Forge. Hey, Bellows, you want to put a link in for that? Is that all right, Michi, if he does that?
Yeah, absolutely. Go right ahead.
For live stream tonight. Multiple talents over there. Hive-hearted, good evening. Thanks for coming in. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know if you'd want to elaborate on that story or not, but I'm still angry about it.
She not trying to give too much information, but she worked herself into a situation where she was no longer free to leave. And part of that process is you get to wear a special color hospital gown and all your property is locked up for your safety and ours. And she refused to give up her cell phone. Well, one of the social workers who is certified well, I don't want to cuss on here, but bad A, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
She's all like 4'9" and 90 pounds, wearing a lot of rocks in her pockets, goes diving under all of us 6-foot+ guys and snatches her phone from her. And it was either I was going to get bit or she was going to get hit. And I figure all you got to do is look in this girl's direction and she'll bruise. So, wow. I took one for the team, but I'm good. I'm good. You can't even see where she got me. So she didn't get me that good. So,
well, she shouldn't have got you at all, but that's another topic for another day, right?
It is what it is. It's the world we live in now, or she's like, what was she, 21, 22 years old? And I was kind of agitated. I looked at her and kind of had a dad moment and said, you know what? You wouldn't be acting this way if your mom would have tanned your hide a little more when you were a kid. But I didn't say it that nicely.
Yeah, good for you.
But
that just reminds me of an old Frank Zappa song. if she were my daughter, I'd. And it
Mm-hmm.
was I don't know what's the name of the song.
And that's like I look back at my son growing up, and he was a typical kid. Yeah, he would test mom, he would test dad. He would. There a couple times he tried to plot mom against dad or dad against mom, and it didn't work. So then he'd run to grandma, and grandma's thing was, "What did your mom and dad say?" But he never got in trouble. I got called to school one time, and that was because they wanted the parents to have the straight story of what went down, and my son actually defended a kid that couldn't defend himself.
Good
So
man.
there were no negative ramifications out of that. He kept his nose clean, did his, we gave him an ultimatum. He wanted to play sports. He had to keep his grades up. Well, he took that challenge and aced it. And just, we never had any problem. That's like, I sit here and look at some of these, young adults now, and it's, your mom and dad should tanned your hide a little more. I mean, is it in the state of Michigan? It's, if you spank your child, depending on who's looking at it, they consider it child abuse.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
you're not knocking the tar out of them. You're just, you're letting them know, this is not happening.
Yeah.
And it's crazy what's gone. Things have come to now. But no, we're good. It's like an everyday thing. My captain called me because every time we have to be seen in the emergency department as a patient, work related, he has this checklist he has to go down.
Sure.
And he calls me, and I'm okay. I don't need to have counseling. We don't need to get the employee action committee involved. I don't need a safe space. I'm fine. I don't need any time off. I don't need this. I don't need that. Doctor saw me. He discharged me, and I immediately went to work. Case closed.
Yeah, there you go. So not to make fun of PTSD at all, because it's a real thing, and I understand it. But would that be BTSD for bite traumatic stress disorder? I don't. Yeah. And Hive-Hearted says I have a great accent, but I think maybe you just hear with an accent, because I ain't got no accent. But I'm just saying. Anyways, hi 210.
GSF, I totally agree with you, my friend. Totally agree with you. Yeah. Our generation and beyond, we, I don't like swearing on here, but I'll say it the way you see it on social media quite a bit. My mom beat the living shit out of me, and you know what I have as a result? I have respect for my fellow man.
Yep. And your mom.
And I'll tell you real quick, my mom was 5'4", and when she finally had the realization that I towered over her, we were still living over in Southwest Detroit. We still had a mom and pop hardware store around the corner from the house.
Love it.
And she went up there, and anybody that's, around my age or older and knows that area, Mr. Levitt cut her down a 2x4. This thing was probably about 4.5 feet long, burned my name into it, and drilled some holes in the end, and put a leather strap for a handle on the other end so she could, stick her hand through and really hang on to it. And she told me, she says, you know what? She says, you ever decide you want to attempt it, I will start at your ankles, be your ankles, your knees, your hips, and then when you're down to my size, I'll take you out. And you know what? When we cleaned out her apartment when she passed away, I'll be darned, she still didn't have that darn 2x4 sitting in the hall closet by the front door.
Outstanding.
Because she always told me, I don't care how old you get, I don't care how big you get, you're still my son. I will take you out as quick as I brought you in.
I like it.
And we need more of that in this world nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
And
well,
she never had to use it.
You could actually mass produce those and just burn the name Karen in there. And
well, yeah.
I'm sorry if there's any Karens.
That whole Karen thing, everybody took off with that, and it's like, okay, the Karen as in the snotty, snooty, whatever you want to call them, people, was originally spelled with a C, not a K.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You know, to go with that 4-letter C word that.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And I'll just leave.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
That makes sense.
But yeah, they just, you know,
Well, that's fair enough. Oh, T-Bird's got a link in. Is that for the that must be for the live for the guys tonight? Yeah. The Molten Metals show or something like that.
Monday night metals.
Monday night, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Molten metals would be
yeah. TSF, yeah, like walking tall. Exactly.
Yeah. We need to like start making those. I think I can't remember what country it is, but maybe Sweden, where it used to be that it was standard government issue of one pew pew per household.
Yeah.
And somebody had to take training in that. We could do that, and maybe just issue one standard 2x4 per household, and
right.
give training and all that sort of thing. That might be not a bad idea. That was a good movie, by the way. Gold Sniping Farmer out. The original, anyway.
Yes. Yes.
The Rocks was garbage, but that's
that's
my personal opinion. The views and opinions expressed by Cranky on this channel are not necessarily those of Michi Stacker and YouTube.
Hey, no, I agree. The originals, anytime they come on, I want to say there was a day last summer I was off and they did a marathon. They did all 3 of them. And, you know, nothing against Bo Svensson, I think is how you pronounce his name. But
yeah,
the guy that did the original one did a far better
What was
job.
his name?
I can't remember.
I'll
have to look it up.
Yeah, he looks like a buster or something like that.
but Bo came in and did that second one and third one, and it just wasn't the same.
I'm gonna have to look him up
because I still remember Bo. You know, I go back to the movies I watched growing up. I remember Bo as the pilot on the passenger jet on Delta in the movie Delta Force, and then the obnoxious bar owner in Heartbreak Ridge.
Joe Don Baker.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe Don Baker. I guess there was a, now that we're talking about it, there was a trilogy on that. Hi, Nick 48.
But yeah, the Baker did the first one, and then Bo did I want to say the second one. Yeah, he did the second one and the third one. I mean, he did a good job, but I thought the
original. It's always so hard to assume somebody's character, if you ask me.
And I actually worked with a gentleman that was one of the real life guy. Was a second cousin of Buford, and he said the guy in the first one did a great job of portraying his cousin. He says, and Bo did a good job, but it was lacking a little bit. So.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to. We're talking about movies, and for some reason, I don't know. You said cousin, and I immediately went to The Hangover.
Yeah.
And the Asian guy in there. And here's that's how my mind works, folks. You heard it here. Grace's father, his brother, her uncle, used to live in San Francisco, and he runs with a pretty good crowd. He's done very well for himself, and her dad was showing me some pictures of her brother and some people hanging out at a party, and then like out on a tarmac standing next to a private jet. And these guys in this picture, they had like sweats on. One of them had sweats on. One of them had jeans and t-shirt and whatever, you know. And he said, yeah, my brother has done very well, you know. And so one of Grace, well, anyway, his brother, her dad's brother, one of his best friends is the CEO of eBay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. And then in one of those couple of those pictures, there was an Asian guy. He goes, "See that Asian guy there?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's and he goes, "Yeah, that's the guy that was in The Hangover, the
Oh wow.
crazy Asian guy."
Yeah.
He was he was a neighbor of her uncle in San Francisco when he lived out there, and they got to be
Oh,
pretty good friends. So it was like,
cool.
I don't know how I got to that from cousin and movies, but this is how it works, folks. Welcome to my world. But
Well, I'm ready for him to come up with something original as far as movies go.
that's the problem, Michi, is everything is just rehashed over
Well,
and
that's
over.
yeah, and it, you know, and I sit back and kind of ask when is it good, when is enough enough. And they did a fourth Beverly Hills Cop movie, but that went straight to Netflix. It didn't hit the theaters, and I'm still trying to figure out how. And this is no disrespect to the actor whatsoever, but how's Danny Glover going to pull off a fifth Lethal Weapon movie at his age?
Oh my goodness, no.
Yeah,
No.
and even the last Beverly Hills Cop movie, John Ashton, Taggart, he looked horrible.
Yeah.
And shortly after the movie came out, he died.
Wow. That'd be like that'd be like uh who was the guy that was in the Shining? Listen to my
Oh,
Jack
I'm
Nicholson. That'd be like
yeah,
Jack Nicholson doing Easy Rider again.
yeah.
Well,
He's. I feel bad because I know he was kind of a Jack Nicholson could be a real jerk in real life, but he's in that long list of actors that's fighting dementia now.
yeah. Thanks, Nick.
So
You had it before I did. I actually sat in it. They filmed a movie here in Omaha called um about something.
mhm.
I can't even think of the name of the movie, for crying out loud. Um but Jack Nicholson, they filmed a lot of it here, and I sat in the booth at Harold's Cafe that Jack Nicholson sat in.
Yeah.
So
Well, we had and this was actually they filmed it my senior year of high school. But if you saw the movie Hoffa,
yeah,
that where all the where he's walking up to the trucks and there the produce terminal, that was all filmed right there, like a block and a half away from the high school I went to. And they would send out, we got flyers on our doors. Hey, on the night of, at this time, if you hear a loud explosion, don't worry, they're filming a movie. And I don't know how much of the movie you remember, but when they torched the cleaners,
I don't.
they warned us about it, but we sat there and watched it. Well, we'd be walking home from school every day, and across from the school was a storage warehouse, was that United Van Lines owned it, and people would store stuff in there, and out in the storage yard behind was where they kept all the antique trucks and cars that they were using for the filming of the movie. Oh, we're all walking home and we're, oh man, look at that. Oh, check this out. Yeah. Well, this guy comes up and starts talking to us. And I'm standing there with a buddy of mine, and we're both looking at him like, yeah, we've seen a few movies. We know who that guy is. Jack walked around the whole time he was in Detroit in full makeup, and nobody knew who he was.
Wow.
He walks around, and that voice of his, and I used to be able to do a pretty good impression, but hey guys, what do you think of those cars over there? Those are pretty sharp, aren't they? Yeah, I'd love to take one of those out and see how fast it'll go on the freeway over here. And he treated us great. Danny DeVito was standing around, same thing, but then you hear about how nasty they were to people.
Yeah.
When people recognize them. And
Yeah, FG just came in. Hi, FG. That movie was about Schmidt that he did up here. I remember that now. But didn't we grow up in a great time for stuff like
yeah.
that? But that brings a question. Here goes my mind again. Whatever happened to like Atlas van lines and Mayflower and all them? Uh,
You know what? I
Everybody's
still
got
see,
storage units now,
yeah,
but I
I
don't ever
still
see
see
any moving
United around here.
companies.
I still see United around here quite often because I'm in between two major freeways, but
Yeah.
they're still around, but they're usually like hauling like the we just had the auto show here in Detroit a few weeks back, so they're hauling all that stuff between Detroit and then Chicago's. Well, I want to say it was like this past weekend, and oh, what was the other one? Yeah, we used to have a bunch of them around here. I haven't seen a Mayflower truck in probably 20, 25 years.
Yeah. Atlas was the big one around the Midwest,
Yeah.
Atlas and Mayflower. But so I'm seeing over here in the chat that Nick is from Ontario. You and Michi, you and Nick need to give me a geography lesson here. Is Ontario the part that is lower than Michigan?
Okay, here. If you're
Because I don't know where is Ontario. That's a city, right?
Ontario is the province.
Okay.
It's kind of
And
like
you guys can laugh if you want to.
Their version of states.
Okay.
That's the way I usually put it. But if you're going, Ontario goes north and above Michigan as well. But the thing about going south is just the way the land lays. If you're going to Ontario from Detroit, you're actually traveling south over to Windsor. Like, yeah, GSF just said the same thing. If you're traveling from Detroit to Windsor, you're traveling south. Now, if you're going from about an hour north of Detroit, you're going from Port Huron to Sarnia, you're going north. And if you're going from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan to Sault Ste. Marie, Canada, you're going north.
Okay.
But that's still all Ontario.
Okay.
So
that would be like a lower peninsula for Canada, basically. Because doesn't it have the lakes on, like you got Superior on one side and Michigan on the other, right?
See, in Detroit, you got the Detroit River that splits us. So you either go under the river or over the river to get to Windsor.
You can go under.
Yeah, right in the heart of downtown, there's a tunnel that goes under the Detroit River. And
get out of here.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I'm learning all kinds of cool stuff today.
They've got the tunnel in downtown that goes from downtown Detroit to downtown. I want to say downtown Windsor. People in Ontario can correct me. It's still just south of what would be the Mackinac Bridge. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But we've got you can go through the tunnel from downtown Detroit, or you can go over the Ambassador Bridge, which is in my old neighborhood. And the Ambassador Bridge is in the old neighborhood, and they're just about done with a second bridge that empties out into my old neighborhood that goes over to Windsor as well. Because they're trying to, more easy flow for the truck traffic, because there is a lot of trade between the two countries. The Ambassador Bridge is actually the busiest port of entry between Canada and the United States in the country.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's
for
cool. I am learning lots of stuff. So Nick says he didn't know about this tunnel either. So is this like a one-way tunnel? Does it only come out on his end?
Both ways. Actually, you know what? Here, I'll tell you, the tunnel's been around it's been around longer than I have.
Really?
Oh yeah.
They could do that stuff back then?
Yeah.
Hi, Blue Collar.
I've seen some pictures of how they did it, and it's actually pretty cool to look at. But when 9/11 happened, and the whole can't confirm or deny. I cannot confirm nor deny that Members of my department, members of the Windsor Police Department, the Canadian Coast Guard, and the U.S. Coast Guard may or may not have fractured a couple of international laws during the time that the border was closed.
Ooh, I would tend to lean towards may not confirm.
No, there was a legit reason for it. But anyway, the border got shut down for 9/11. And the big problem is the majority of your nurses that work in Detroit, so at the Detroit Medical Center, Henry Ford Health System, what back then was St. John Health System, which is now part of Henry Ford, at least in the Southeast Michigan, are Canadian. So they come over here to work. They come over here to work. You know, it's like one of those toss-ups where they can't spend Canadian currency over here, but we can spend ours over there. They can come work over here, but we can't go work over there.
Yeah.
But they come over here because at the end of the day, they make more money working here. Things kind of weird to think, but even, things are cheaper over here. But we had all these Canadian nurses that were stuck over in Windsor that couldn't get over to our side to go to work. And we had a bunch of Canadian nurses that were stuck here that couldn't get home. So what they did, and I guess the city of Windsor runs this thing, but they got together, the heads got together and they came up with this idea that the nurses have to get to work. They have to get home. This is a matter of life and death.
Yeah.
So they kind of fractured the rule where before the border was open, you had to show up at a certain time at the tunnel. If you were coming from Windsor to Detroit, you had to show up at the tunnel at a certain time. You had to have your passport and your work ID with you. They would put you on, they actually have a fleet of buses that are called the tunnel bus. And that's all they do is they run back and forth between Windsor and Detroit. And they brought you across the border, but they brought you directly to the hospital you worked at. And then
isn't it funny how all these things these rules can be fractured to some degree when it's something important.
That makes it. They realized it's like, we got to let them across. We can't just, we can't, because lives are at stake. Because these are ICU nurses and pediatric ICU nurses and labor and delivery nurses, and just they need to be able to get back and forth to work.
Yeah, especially the PICUs.
And
that's a big one.
In our case, this is kind of a special memory in my heart, considering everything else that was going on back then. I get a call to switch over to our car-to-car channel. I'm working and talk to my lieutenant. Well, my lieutenant gets on the radio. He says, I know it's been a while, but he says, do you know where the Coast Guard station is at Belle Isle? Yeah, I practically grew up on Belle Isle. Yeah, I know where it is. Okay, get there. They'll tell you what's going on when you arrive. And he says, and get there like 10 minutes ago. Okay. Lights and siren, cooking my way over there. I get to the Coast Guard station, pull up, hit the speaker, tell them who I am. They let me in. Well, I get there and they say, well, we still got about 5 minutes, but this is what's going down. And I'm standing there BSing with the chief petty officer in charge of the station. And I'm looking out the window. I see all these red and blue lights coming across the river. I'm like, what the heck? Because it was cold outside. It was windy and nasty. And you don't want to be out on the Detroit River on a night like that. Well, here comes the Windsor Police Department, accompanied by a Canadian Coast Guard vessel, which, side story, I never knew until then that I thought the Canadian Coast Guard was like the U.S. Coast Guard. They're not a paramilitary branch of the Canadian Armed Forces. They're civilians. But anyway, they come across the river to our Coast Guard station on our side, and it was 3/4 of a transplant team that needed to get to Children's Hospital of Michigan.
Oh,
because
cool.
there was a 7-year-old girl on the table. The new heart was there. Michigan Air National Guard flew out your way, picked up the heart, and brought it back, and police escort to the hospital with it. And
Love
this
it.
little girl was about to get her heart, and we made it happen.
I love that kind of stuff. Love
Yeah,
that. Hi,
yeah.
Cat Mom 87 and Miss. Yeah,
And it was
that's
kind of cool because when we got to Children's Hospital from Belle Isle. It's not that long a drive, but you know, when you got neat little contraptions on your vehicle, it you know, makes it a lot quicker. And as
yeah.
I'm dropping them off, the one nurse goes, "Hey, when we get done, can we do that again? That was fun."
They got to go home, right?
Right? Yeah, there you go.
Code 3 home.
No, it's just that, you know, no, but yeah, they say you're heading south to Canada, you're going from Detroit. So
Gotcha. Hey, what do you got piled up on your set there, Michi? Oh, you got a lot of shiny stuff there on the front.
Oh, that's just stuff I've had. I just, tried to bling it out for tonight. Got all
I like it. I like
my Michigan stuff out here. Got my community pours and just some maples, some eagles, some of the good stuff there.
Okay. Yeah, you and MSJ. I just love your sets on you got those racks and all kinds of nice stuff. Lots of bling bling. I'm loving that silver stuff.
My undercover seasoning rack from Aldi.
Look at mine. Mail's going out tomorrow, y'all. But I put my camera up real close to, like at least halfway organized part of the I am out and everybody in that got something in the last auction, forgive me. I really intended to get everything out by before I left for Denver, but I just couldn't get it all in, and it will go out tomorrow. That's a promise. But we're again today. I thought it'd go out today, but Miss Lori's got some stuff going on health wise that I swear. The healthcare system for veterans, at least at Offutt Air Force Base out here, which should be it's the Strategic Air Command headquarters, right? It should be a good facility. It is a cluster bomb. It's an absolute joke, and we finally got her. A waiver so that she can start going to my physician because he takes TRICARE, but the hoops she has to jump through, never sees the same physician, twice in a 6-month period. It's 30 days out before. Well, hell, if she needs to have an EKG done and a scan of sorts. And I can't tolerate it. I literally can't take this dealing with those people out there because they don't give a shit. Pardon my cowboy friend, everybody. They just don't care about them.
They don't.
It's criminal. You talk about fodder for Doge. I have never even considered opening an X account, but I was so mad this afternoon after everything. I was considering opening an X account for the specific reason of putting something up for Elon Musk to come in here and do some house cleaning on military benefits and it's a joke. There's 90% of their stuff is spent on administrative issues and it doesn't get done still. It's
well,
I can feel my blood pressure going up now. Hi, Phoenix.
Take a breather for a second. I am not a veteran. I was considered damaged goods by 3 of the 4 branches of the military and the United States Coast Guard because of an injury I suffered in high school. But I grew up in a military family. Mm-hmm. I grew up. The first part of my life was the tail end of my grandfather's Navy career. He retired as a Master Chief, and man, he would not let you forget it. Love him to death, but he was a Navy Chief until he took his last Master Chief until he took his last breath. But
wonderful.
This is me, and I know we got a lot of veterans, that follow us. As an American citizen, a non-vet, I am embarrassed beyond belief at the way our veterans are treated.
Yeah.
When I was still on the job before I retired, we worked the area quite a bit that's known as Midtown Detroit. Okay. Where the Detroit Medical Center is, where Wayne State University is, Henry Ford Health System, they're the main Henry Ford Hospital. That's all in Midtown Detroit. I watched them build the Detroit VA hospital. Now this building it's huge. It's like almost three city blocks long and 2 city blocks wide, like 12 floors, I think, if I remember right. Huge building. They planned this building, and all the people they wanted to work there, they started planning this as the Korean War was going on. Well, they didn't even break ground until 1989 or 90 for this building.
Wow. So
they build this huge building. Okay, we're spending all this money on this hospital, and we get it done. It opens in 93, 94. And this building to this day sits about 80 to 85% empty. Because this building they started planning toward the beginning of the Vietnam War. So they figured, okay, we got a few World War I vets left, World War II, Korea, we're in this thing with, in Vietnam. So we're going to have all these veterans that are going to need services. Well, by the time they got it done, almost all your World War I veterans were gone. A good number of your World War II vets were gone. So you had Korea and Vietnam. But that building now to this day is still 85% empty. Now, I retired and went to work at the DMC. And we used to do that, where you would, lend and borrow type thing with the different hospitals, like the pharmacies.
Yeah.
And they sent me one day on, hospital terms, a stat pharmacy run to the VA hospital. So I get over there. And first, because I'm entering a government installation, I need to secure my firearm.
Yeah.
And I do. And they give me directions to get to the inpatient pharmacy, which is, down in the basement, in the dungeon.
Always was.
I go down there, and the floor's crunching. It wasn't the floor that was crunching.
Paint chips or roaches?
Like this big roaches, where they didn't crunch, they popped. And I'm like, okay, wait, this is a VA hospital. Then I had a friend of mine, or a buddy of mine, his wife is a respiratory therapist. She was, I'm going to go work at the VA, the government retirement, all that stuff. She goes over there, and they finally open this wing up for respiratory therapy. And she's looking around. She goes, and she took pictures. She's, how am I supposed to treat people? Is this how we treat our veterans? They had to go in and clean 2 inches of dust off of everything in the rooms.
Yeah. And how many years has that been going on, Michi? I mean,
forever.
They literally at least 40 or 50 years.
Yeah, they never completely filled that building, but they kept spending money that should be used maybe toward our veterans being able to get decent health care through the VA. They went in there and did an audit, and they found, 350 30 some, or no, they're like bigger TVs, like TVs that you would bolt to the wall, not sit on a table. Sitting in a room. They bought them and never used them. And it's like, why'd we, but and the fact that you guys have to wait forever to get appointments, and they don't let you get the care that you need. It's asinine. Pardon my expression. It's asinine.
We
can hand it out to people coming across the border.
Yeah.
Like it's candy.
We used to, when I was working as a paramedic, we used to, I hate to say it, but every once in a while, if it was a non-emergency run to the VA,
Yeah.
we'd flip for it, and whoever lost had to take it because you were invariably going to be there standing in the hallway for, hours for things to get processed.
Oh
And
yeah.
one time that I could take you to the hallway right now and pretty much put you right outside the treatment room. I had a guy on a cardiac monitor, was in the process of a infarction, and we
Mhm.
stood out in the hallway with his IV running and given cardiotonics and all for 45 minutes before they even
Oh
got
yeah.
him in a treatment room. And this
Yeah.
was an emergency. I mean, it just, and this was, that was like early 80s, you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
We
yeah,
we
Gold Sniping Farmer
they're
says money laundering at its finest.
yeah,
That's correct.
exactly.
Yep.
And and the thing is, and Robert just said, I won't use the VA. It's
Mhm.
sad that our veterans have to, you know, choose one way or the other. I mean, you should be able to go and know because, and I know it's, a line that's been used a million times in movies and on TV. The minute you guys signed those papers at the recruiting office and committed to serving our country, I mean, that was
Yeah.
a blank check, made payable to the citizens of the United States of America. And you knew that something could happen where you might not come home, and you did it anyway.
Yep.
The least we can do is take care of you.
Yep.
Not this where, it's every day when I go to work, there's a guy standing on the side of the road at my exit off the freeway. This guy's a military veteran. He served in Desert Storm. He at the end of his career, he went over to Afghanistan a couple times, post, after 9/11 and that. And this guy's living under a bridge, begging for change at an exit off the freeway. Why?
Yeah.
It's just it sickens me. But and I'll even go one step further. There was a gentleman that walked into the Detroit VA, they call it an urgent care center, their emergency department. And he walks in and he says, something's wrong. I don't feel right. I need help. I don't know. And he was he couldn't walk straight. He was, blurry vision, all this other stuff. And he walks in there and they told him, they basically kicked him out, told him to come back when you're sober. So
Wow. Yeah.
he walks back out the door and he looks over and he sees across the street, he sees the ambulance entrance for Harper Hospital, which is one of the hospitals in the DMC. So he says, okay, I'm going to go there. They'll help me. So he starts to walk down, and as he's crossing the street, and it's snowing, it's wintertime, weather's not the greatest, he got hit by a garbage truck.
God.
And got killed.
Yeah.
Well, when they did the autopsy, he wasn't drunk. His blood sugar was at like 32.
Mm-hmm.
But the VA turned him away because he wasn't acting right. And this guy was a combat veteran. He was a Vietnam vet. Mm. And they just, because, they figured, oh, you're drunk, come back later. And that was the end result. And that's like, that's just that.
Did they even smell his breath at all? Because I mean, that kind of,
that was my question. But
if you don't smell alcohol and it smells sweet, you got an issue going on.
Exactly.
There. That's the drill.
Right.
I mean,
exactly. So they just, it's the system that that our vets, even the people that are currently serving, they're barely making enough to buy groceries for their family.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, this hopefully things change. So.
Well, I hope it does pretty quick, especially on this front. Mm-hmm. And I like, to kind of lighten it up just a little bit. Cat mm-hmm. Mom, I like what she said back here. She said it's sad our veterans should be our number one people that we take care of next to our elderly. And I agree wholeheartedly with that. We've had a serious conversation, and I'm also going to add thank you for saying that for the elderly, because I'm there.
Oh, here.
I'm only kidding you. No, I really
One,
am old, but that's
one more thing about the VA, and then I will shut up about it.
no, you're good, man.
Since they opened that one in Detroit,
Mr. and Mrs. Hey.
there used to be one in Allen Park. It was an old building. It'd been there forever. I mean, you walk down the hallway, it still had wooden floors. We did, when I was in high school, we did some volunteer work there. So it was kind of creepy, but they closed Allen Park, moved all those patients, the inpatient patients, to Detroit, moved all the services to Detroit. And I tell everybody now, if you're in this area and you're a veteran and you have to go to the VA, do everything you can to go to Ann Arbor, because I've never heard a single vet say anything bad about the one in Ann Arbor.
I think you and I talked about that before, didn't we? Yeah. On in a private conversation, I think we talked about that, and I remember you saying Ann Arbor was a much better facility. So, hi, Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stackers. Hey, Mr. Tell Mrs. that I got a bunch of minis that I'm going to be working on pouring here before too long. So there'll be some new stuff. She likes her minis, those little teeny tiny things. like, well, just cool stuff. Cool stuff. She's got quite a collection. I think she did a video quite a while back on her minis. She's probably got some new ones, but I really haven't been spending a lot of time, on videos and stuff like that. And I know I need to get back into it some, but I've got a lot going on, and I'm trying to start to get some stuff to pour, some new designs, and get the materials to do that and that sort of thing.
Her eyes just lit up.
Oh, cool. Yeah. And who knows, the next one that she gets gifted might be a 3/9 fine silver mini. That's my goal, is to get into the jewelry side of things. I think everybody knows that, but I'm learning a lot from some people that have been doing specifically the jewelry for quite a while. And it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a trial and error kind of thing, but it's so much fun. I just really enjoy it. So anyways,
yeah, T-Bird says he holds the most copper in New York State.
T-Bird does. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. When I bought that, oh yeah, this one, I think this one came from Mama T's auction, and I got that from you, Cherie. This is from Stacker Man. This is pewter. I love them. And of course, my silver crucifix from Tuli Tuli. And then there's the little copper crosses stamped out of the pennies. Those are pretty cool. I forgot what I was saying. Like that's never happened before. Oh well. I don't know where I was going, but it doesn't really matter, does it? Because we always wind up where we're at anyway, right?
There you go.
Wherever you go, there you are.
I know I'm getting real curious. I know it's a kind of a heated subject one way or the other. I'm curious to see what they find at Fort Knox.
Yeah, I think I've got a real desire to know what's in there and what's not.
Right.
But I think even the current administration needs to be really careful with full disclosure on something like that. And I think Sal touched on that in one of his videos. Like, you're not only going to affect totally the US economy, but globally, if there's a whole bunch of stuff missing,
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know that it's missing really. I don't. I mean, that would just about be the last little pea in the pod for me, as far as having any faith at all and not wanting to overthrow the government, which, by the way, I do not have any intentions of doing.
Right.
Quick disclaimer. But I mean, that's fighting kind of stuff there.
Oh,
and And honestly, uh, I think what the reason that they're really making a big deal out of it, and you're right, farmer, they'll never tell us. And I think to some degree that's probably the responsible way of doing it. But you know, some disclosure on that would be, at least it bears at least to satisfy the questions in people's minds. It bears looking into. But I think the main reason they're wanting to do it is to possibly eliminate some of the current debt, you know, to revalue it at a higher dollar amount. And wouldn't that knock off some of the 2 trillion indebtedness if it was revalued? I think that may not be too far off. But I'm still waiting on my $5,000 check from Elon Musk.
Right.
They've been talking about that for a week now, and I still haven't got it. So
yeah, well, I'll believe it when I see all those digits in my bank account.
So. Yeah. Yeah, checks in the mail.
Right. Or the fact that those quote unquote stimulus checks they sent out were supposed to be they weren't supposed to make us repay that. Of course, you know, the administration changed and oh look, your taxes went up.
Yeah, again, farmer says Elon is also a puppet, but farmer, I can't see any strings. I don't see any strings when he moves.
Bluetooth technology.
Bluetooth puppet. Oh yeah, there you go. CGI. Yeah. Have you seen what they're doing with that stuff? Make you repay what your money? Yeah. Yeah, true. Like you can take any photo and make it like mouth the words and sing a song or whatever.
Oh yeah,
that's just creepy to me. There was one with 2 babies on there, and they had them singing a song. I was like, man, that is creepy. I know.
Yeah, that, you know, they're trying to cram AI down our throats too, and it's.
Well, here again, I think they ought to stay on top of that from a weaponization standpoint. But I could give a shit about it one way or the other personally, except for the fact that the Chinese are going to go after it to weaponize it. And I think even in public media to some degree, it's already weaponized. You know, because you know the big media people can do or say pretty much anything they want to if they desire to do it that way. I'm not saying they're doing that, but the technology's there. Hey, Spokane. Love how everyone likes getting some of their money back. They tax the tax. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Here we're gonna hit you with income tax, and then you know everything you buy you got to pay sales tax, and then you gotta it's a never ending sick cycle.
Well, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. I saw a post the other day, had an old guy with gray hair and a beard, and he was holding up a sign, you know, saying that he paid for his house 25 years ago, you know, and still he pays, you know, if he doesn't pay his tax, and they'll come and take it, you know. Right. And that's true. I mean, it's the same thing here. Everything's paid for, but don't pay the tax, you know. And Nebraska is one of the worst states in the union for personal property tax. It's just it's maddening. It's you know, the taxes on this property here are the same as the original mortgage payment. That's what has to be put away each month.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's well, I could go on about that, more Doge fodder, but who cares? As long as things are working better, cool. We all need to start raising chickens and a couple of goats and one fatted calf per household.
There you go. Yep.
And leave my soil and water supply alone too, while you're at it, and my seeds.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's how I feel about that. How about that?
There you go.
Gas be outside. Well, what do you think, Mishy Mish?
Well, we're coming up. Well, we're at an hour and 24, almost hour and 25. So.
Oh wow, man, the time flies.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
It does. It's so infrequent. I mean, like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For an hour and a half, I get to have some fun. No.
Yeah. Well, we. Yeah, I know. I'm on a crazy schedule at work. A lot of people tell me, "Ooh, it's nuts." Well, it works for us. It works for those of us that work it.
Yeah, yeah. Mr. Silver Eagle says his dad and his side of the family grew up in Omaha. That is kind of cool. Yeah. Small world for sure. I got transplanted here. T-Bird says, and one horse is cranky. One horse is cranky. Yeah. T-Bird, were you here when I showed the picture of the horse outside the bar in Denver? Literally, the horse outside the bar. So farmers' mom's family's from Lincoln. Yeah, that's a good college town. I don't know if T-Bird was here earlier or not, but we might have to revisit that, Missy, just for 1 second, if you please. No problem. I love that picture. Having the backstory of having the camera the wrong way was just a riot. There we go.
There. I got you on the big screen.
There we go. So horse walks into a bar in Louisville, Colorado. Anyway. Bartender says, "Get out." Oh, I got to figure out some new directions to go with that too. Yeah, Mr. Silver Eagle, we have the top-rated zoo in the country for like the 3rd year in a row or something like that. It's amazing. The Desert Dome is an amazing. It's like a biosphere kind of thing, and it's all desert creatures and habitat and all that sort of thing. And they've got a safari park here now where you can like stay in tents like they used to sleep in the savannah in the movies, and on safari and all that kind of stuff. It's called Safari Park. Imagine that. And an aquarium that's way cool. I've thought about going down there and like working just part-time because do something, because I always wanted to work in the zoo. I loved critters when I was growing up. But anyways,
everybody's got the cool zoos. The zoo in Detroit, well, it's not in Detroit, it's in the suburbs, but the Detroit Zoo, let's see, I'm 51 and it looks the same now as it did when I was 5.
Well, now see, that's the difference. See, Mr. Silver Eagle says he was here about 10 years ago with his family. That you wouldn't believe the changes. It would be worth a trip, Mr. Silver Eagle, with your family again, because it really is a fantastic place, and you probably wouldn't recognize it anymore. But and farmers in on the horse joke now. This is good. This is a good sign. There's hope for society. Horse walks into a bar. Bartender says, "You use the door." I like it. Oh, I'm gonna cough. I'm gonna have to mute. Hold on. All right, that was good.
Yeah, you get down by me, everybody talks about, you want to take the kids to the zoo, go to Toledo. I've never been to Toledo Zoo. I got to get there one of these days.
That's a pretty good one, isn't it? It's pretty highly
rated. It's good. It's big. It's all that. They do a big deal down there for Christmas with the Christmas lights.
That'd be cool.
But it's stupidly expensive to go though. It's like somewhere around $40 a person to go walk through the zoo and look at the Christmas lights. So,
well, and then you got things like those and the one here and I actually saw Marlin Perkins at the St. Louis Zoo one time, long time ago. That'll date me a little bit. And he was young. No, it wasn't that long ago. But then you got like the Topeka, Kansas Zoo, which is like, they got 6 goats and a couple of
Well, we've
ponies
got the
painted with
Detroit Zoo.
stripes.
The Detroit Zoo's been around forever. There for a long time over on Belle Isle, they had a zoo, and when the city started, with their shenanigans back when, they closed the Belle Isle Zoo, and that's where whenever they catch deer on the island, they throw them in the zoo so they're fenced in, which is a little irritating. But we've got one up in the UP that's called Garland's. It's like, that's where you go to see the tigers and the bears and the lions and the lemurs and stuff up close. But that's up in the UP.
Can you get more than one tag for them deer in the fence there?
Right.
I don't know if I've told this story before or not, but the zoo here, I was doing part-time maintenance in an apartment that I was living in, and they called me at my full-time job one day and had me come over to the apartments, and I got over there and there was like some zoo trucks, and yeah, I will. There were a couple of Henry Dorley zoo trucks and like Humane Society and some Douglas County Sheriff's cars there and everything, and they had wanted me to come over and take them around the backside of the property, all the garages on the property, because they found some tracks. Well, there was a mountain lion sighting like for 2 weeks on and off right in this business area right behind the apartments, and I'll be darned if they didn't dart that mountain lion behind the garages where I was always out working, and there was like 50 kids running around all the time. But they put it was a 140-pound mountain lion, and they put it in the zoo here, which I thought was really cool. They didn't euthanize it or anything, but my gosh, man, what a beautiful animal. They had it in the back of the truck when I got there, and the paws on those things are massive.
Oh yeah,
massive. It'd be like, it's like buying Shaq some shoes,
right?
They're just, I can't imagine it.
Here, I'll give you a real quick one. Imagine hearing an officer come over the radio and say, "I'm chasing a cow down Mack Avenue." This is just north of downtown Detroit. And what had happened was Eastern Market, which it's like the local big, like legit farmers market. And, a lot of restaurants go down there to get their meats and stuff fresh every day, all that. Well, this cow decided it wasn't his day to meet his maker, so he got loose and took off. And here we are, and I'm like, no, I got to see this. So my partner and I go over that way, and sure enough, here's one of our mounted guys, on horseback chasing this cow down Mack Avenue. And it's like,
in downtown Detroit. Yeah. Rope him and take him where?
Well, you know what they ended up doing? They ended up catching him, and he went on to live the rest of his life on a farm out on the west side of the state.
Well, now there's a good question for everybody that knows of mounted police. Do they have like lariats and ropes in their gear, or they
no, they're just
they have big cow tasers?
Anything's possible, but not in Detroit.
The only time
stretch there where the only police officers that had nightsticks were mounted, and they were attached to the saddles, and they were only there for decoration.
When the only horses I've seen downtown. Well, now we do have mounted units here in Omaha, but growing up, the only time we'd see horses downtown was if one of the Kitchens rode their horse into town and was drunk enough to fall off. And there was a big clan of them Kitchens too. They we used to say every house in the county has a kitchen in it. It was a big family. And that's true. I'm not lying.
Well, yeah, there for a while, the only time you saw the mounted division was if there was a parade downtown, because they would always lead like the Thanksgiving parade, and if one of our sports teams You know, like the Wings won the Stanley Cup, or God, way back when the Tigers won the World Series, the Pistons won the NBA championship. They would lead the parade down Woodward Avenue, and but yeah, they're for a while. They got real thin. We only had a couple of horses, and then now it's pretty big again. So
yeah, we used to be known to ride with a long time ago. Well, heck, even I had horses then. We'd ride our horses in town and tie them up in the alley and watch a movie.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I mean, that's what a great town to grow up in. It was a good town. Of course, you could do that back then.
Yeah. Well, they've got a town up in northern Macomb County where you pull up to the BP gas station and you can tie up your horse to go in and get a slushie.
Man, I love it. I wish there was more places like that left.
Yeah. Oh,
hey,
yeah.
Emerald. Emerald's just coming in.
Uh-huh.
Well, good night, Emerald.
Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap it up for this week. So.
Yeah, I can't believe it's see, I'm seeing the time up in the corner now, an hour and 35. I just can't believe it goes that fast.
Yeah.
We have so much wisdom and correct opinions to share with everybody, Michi, that there just aren't enough minutes in the hour.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, and we appreciate everybody that came in tonight, hung out with us, and
yep, always.
It's always a good time. We usually start talking about this stuff and end up talking about anything other than.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
our intentions to come in on here, I think Cranky will agree. Just come on here and have fun. And like we always say, anything goes. And that's cool.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to get a precious metals reference in tonight.
Yeah, there you go. I'll do one of
these
from one of our neighboring states. Hammered hand poured.
Oh, that's sweet, dude. Yeah. I like that. Come
take it. Good luck getting through the front door.
That's right. That's right.
All righty. Yeah. Well, everybody keep stacking, keep hunting, and I'll let Cranky finish it off for us for tonight.
Well, that's nice of you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, Michi. Always. 2 weeks from now,
yes, sir.
We'll fly by the seat of our pants again. And y'all stay safe, shoot straight, keep stacking. Stack the right stuff, y'all. Peace and love.
Have a good night, everybody.